Hello viewers, welcome back to this channel. Today we will look at another chapter of the Bhagavad Gita and understand the messages it imparts us. My name is Ritesh Raj, so let's begin. I am delighted to present to you an introduction to the Bhagavad Gita. This will be useful to all those who are seekers of truth and for our young friends who would like to know more about the background of Bhagavad Gita. I will present this in a question and answer style. We will also touch upon what Mahabharata is and cover the reasons that led to the great battle. So, question number one: what is the meaning of the word Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita literally means Song of the Lord. Bhagavad has multiple meanings. One is God Himself, but it also means the true devotees of God. Gitam in Sanskrit means song. Hence, Bhagavad Gita also means a song for the true devotees of the Supreme Lord. It is also referred to as Gita in short. Let's look at question number 2. Who delivered Bhagavad Gita and why? Gita was delivered by Lord Krishna to his devotee Arjun. Hindus consider Lord Krishna as the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, who is the sustainer of this entire universe. Therefore, Lord Krishna is the supreme Godhead of this universe. Gita is contained as chapters within India's longest epic called the Mahabharata, which was a battle fought in the city of Kurukshetra in India. To understand the reasons why the battle was fought, we will have to go back into history and look at the events that lead up to the battle. The story of Mahabharata revolves around the Kuru dynasty. Once it was ruled by a king called Vichitravirya. He had two sons, Dhritarashtra and Pandu. When Vichitravirya died, the younger one Pandu was crowned king since Dhritarashtra was blind and could not become the king. Dhritarashtra had 100 sons called Kauravas, and Pandu had 5 sons called the Pandavas. Later, when King Pandu died, Pandavas became the legal heir to the throne. However, since Pandavas were very young, their uncle Dhritarashtra assumed the throne. Duryodhan was the eldest of the Kauravas. He was extremely jealous of the Pandavas since they were superior in both strength and intellect. He persuaded his father Dhritarashtra to send Pandavas to a fair in a place called Varanavata. Duryodhan, along with his relatives, had hatched a plan to kill the Pandavas in Varanavata. However, Pandavas found out that Duryodhan's evil plan and escaped unharmed. They went into exile from there on. While in exile, Pandavas married Draupadi, daughter of a warrior and a strong king at that time called Drupad. Dhritarashtra realized that Pandavas were now very strong and decided to split Hastinapur into two parts, or his kingdom into two parts. Duryodhan kept Hastinapur and Pandavas got Indraprastha. However, Duryodhan's evil mind did not stop here, and he hatched another plan. He invited Pandavas to a game of poker and, using trickery and deception, took away everything that the Pandavas had and sent them into a further exile in a forest for 13 long years. Now, despite completing the exile successfully, Duryodhan was adamant to not return Indraprastha back to the Pandavas. Krishna went to Duryodhan's court for an amicable settlement, asking for 5 villages instead of Indraprastha. Duryodhan turned down this offer and declared that he will not return a piece of land equal in area to the tip of a needle. Furthermore, Krishna was humiliated by the Kauravas. The Pandavas therefore had no choice but to go to war with Kauravas and assume their lost property. On the battleground, the two armies faced each other. Kauravas had great warriors on their side, including Krishna's army. Krishna, on the other hand, was on the side of Pandavas and decided to become Arjun's charioteer. Arjun was the best archer of his time, and along with his brothers was very unhappy and angry about the injustice that was meted out to them by the Kauravas. Before the battle began, Arjun asked Krishna to take the chariot toward the center of the battlefield so that he can see who was in the Kauravas' army. What he saw filled his heart with grief and despair. He saw his brothers, uncles, grandsons, great grandsons on the other side. His heart sank at the thought of shooting members of his family and perhaps killing them. He dropped his bow and arrow and fell on his knees. Arjun said to Krishna, "It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of my miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. Govinda, I shall not fight." And he fell silent. Krishna was not only his charioteer but also his advisor. This is the instance when Krishna, who is all knowledgeable, all pervading, all powerful, imparted Arjun the lessons of Gita. Next question, when was Bhagavad Gita delivered? Now Mahabharata was fought around more than 5,000 years ago, and so Gita was delivered at the same time. What does Gita teach us? Now Gita is a body of knowledge that shows us the path to lead a life that makes us happy and keeps us away from life's pitfalls. Many think that Gita is a purely religious text, but this is far from true. While it does assume life after death and the fact that our spirit never dies, it just leaves one body on death and assumes a new body thereafter. However, once we start understanding the inherent and underlying meaning behind the messages of Gita, we realize that it goes beyond religion. It includes parts of Jnana Yoga, the path of knowledge, Karma Yoga, the path of action, Sannyas Yoga, the path of renunciation of attachment to the fruit of our actions, and Bhakti Yoga, devotion. Jnana Yoga is the first stage. Every student engaged in the religious studies is a practitioner of this path. On this path, a person acquires the knowledge of the inner self through study and contemplation. Having attained the knowledge of the scriptures, he should move on to the second stage of Karma Yoga to discharge his responsibilities towards himself, his family, and society by performing his obligatory duties. Sannyas Yoga is the stage when a yogi begins to perform his actions without desire and attachment, renouncing the sense of doership, and offers the fruit of his actions to God. When a seeker practices these different types of yoga for a considerable amount of time, he develops sattva or purity and divine qualities which are described in a lot of detail in the Gita. With these refinements in his lower self or the outer consciousness, he eventually comes to the fourth and final stage, which makes him fit for the practice of Bhakti Yoga, or the yoga of devotion. He surrenders to God completely and spends his time in God's service and contemplation. This is where I would like to end the introduction to Gita. Thanks for your audience. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to keep receiving updates from the channel. Until next time,